So I was on the fence about getting the new Marvel 3.75-inch line of toys when my good friend Poky over here found some for me. And what you're about to see is the time when he brought them into work for me. All this week on
No Skill Customs.
I'm in a bag, so this is the official unbagging.
the unbagging of
The unbagging and
the what is this line even called?
Marvel Legends. I've seen it called Marvel Legends Kenner, Marvel Legends Retro Kenner. I'm calling it Marvel Legends Retro. But I love the Kenner piece because I cannot look at these figures and think anything but vintage Star Wars.
What they actually put the Kenner logo on them, right?
On the card back.
Yeah.
There's no box because there's no vehicles yet.
Yeah, see, because it all makes sense.
It feels like Star Wars. It feels like Kenner did Secret Wars.
Yeah,
I never dreamed that. I didn't know I wanted this till I saw it.
yeah.
And I found my first figures. I found out about this at a toy show. Literally, the dealer put them out on the table, and my eyes popped. And what do you want? How much are they? I have to have them. That was my unbagging.
Take my money.
They were in a bag.
Yeah.
And I thought I was looking at Secret Wars, and I thought I was looking at vintage Star Wars. And
Yeah.
I'll be honest, crazy thing is, I didn't even notice the Kenner logo till I got home.
Yeah.
The Kenner logo, I did not realize till I got home to look at the card backs. And I don't know what I like more, the card backs or the figure, or it's both together. They're both awesome.
Yeah.
And they're simplistic. A lot of people complain about how simplistic they are. That's the point. I
Yeah.
don't want articulation in these figures.
Yeah.
I want Star Wars figures
Like Charm.
in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
I want Kenner in 1983 doing Marvel.
Yeah.
That's what I want. So here's the bag.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
dying to hear your reactions. I don't know if they can be unbiased because I
Now,
already
truth
told
be
you
told,
my
I
reactions.
do know which figures I got. I just haven't really looked at them yet.
In hand, I said in hand. There's so much
Never
different.
seen these. I'm not going to stores right now, so Poky here is wow, my purchaser of these things because oh my gosh.
Now, what do you? I remember when we talked about this. I said, as good as they look in the pictures, they're even better in hand.
Yeah. Oh, I just love Iron Man. Something about just the sculpt, so cool.
Doesn't it look like Secret Wars? Except
Yeah.
Kenner Secret Wars.
Yeah.
If Mattel never made it,
more neutral poses. You know, the only thing I noticed in hand that for whatever reason I didn't notice in the photo you sent me was Captain America. Like, for all the great design choices they have, they put him on a blue background and he just bleeds right into it. You know, I don't know why they didn't choose.
Well, it's interesting
to
you
do
say that
something that
because
had more contrast.
Hasbro Pulse has them on a different card back with a yellow background.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
Oh,
Yes, they do. For all those variation hunters out there,
oh man.
they're starting right from the start, right from wave one.
Oh, is mine rare? Is that?
Yours was at Target. How rare is Target?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, the dark blue would have worked well too. Something better for that pill.
Now,
Well,
going forward, we talk about different ways to collect it. I've already been thinking. My first thought was, well, I want all the original Mattel Secret Wars characters to be made in this line, and then I could have a comparable line: Mattel Secret Wars, Marvel Legends Kenner Secret Wars.
Uh-huh.
But they already made the Hulk, which I bought at the toy show, which is just an incredible figure in this scale and in this style. And it made me realize what a missed opportunity. Mattel did not make a Hulk. They made all their figures the same size, same height, very similar in scale. And so now I started thinking, well, now I want all the figures from the Secret Wars storyline made like this. And that would be the display.
Yeah.
I literally want to open the figures, and I absolutely will not open the figures because I can't separate them from those card backs. The card backs are as much value as the actual figure. I certainly don't want to have to double up because I do plan on collecting the line. Although, I mean, how deep is it going to go? Is it going to go 500 characters deep?
Yeah. But to me, it's all about the packaging. And I think this is like the most daring thing about these. Anytime, I was trying to think, since we planned on doing this little talk, I was trying to brainstorm what toy line have they decided they didn't need to have everyone have a matching, high headline and a matching color scheme. You know what I mean? Like, these are all different. and I think it's just such a big risk, but it's so exciting and fresh and fun. You know, when you think about when you go to a comic book store, they all have comics laid out, and it's not like everything by Marvel looks the same, and you got to find, you know, Captain America underneath a big Marvel heading. They flipped it in like a comic book where it's Captain America's big, Marvel is small.
And
just that they're willing to do that.
It did not even occur to me until you said that, how every toy line has a look. I mean, I take it for granted. It's so intrinsic. I don't even think about it. It didn't even occur to me. I knew I loved the cardback art, and my first thought was it looks like 1960s Marvel heroes or lunchbox art.
Oh yeah.
But then what it really made me think of was Mego Heroes art. I think was Neil Adams the Batman artist that did a lot of the box. I think it was Neil Adams.
Okay, because I feel like you are paying for the packaging with this. They knew that too. This is like, if you think about the vintage collection figures, their cardbacks are this thin sort of cardboard, except for the carbonized ones. This, to me, they feel more like a carbonized thickness and weight to these cardbacks. Now, you were telling me they actually made carbonized Marvel figures, is that right?
They don't call them carbonized, but it's the same. It's absolutely the same foil cardback, and it looks like metallic paint on Iron Man. And surprisingly, it works well on Black Panther. He's all black. If you notice, that Black Panther has got the blue gloves that looks like he's right out of a comic book from the 70s. Maybe the boots too.
Yeah.
The Hasbro Pulse exclusive one is all black and it's got metallic paint. It doesn't look metal. It just looks like it's glimmering. And Iron Man looks like metal. But right now, I just keep thinking, keep them coming. I can think of 20 characters I want, and then 20 more on top of that. So I don't see any reason to stop right now.
Yeah.
Except space.
Well, yeah, then space is a big thing for me too. I think right now, you know, we collected comics at slightly different eras. I was more like the 90s, you know, and
I was the 80s.
You were more the 80s. So
what are you saying?
Well, just I think that would affect which figures I want and which ones I don't, you know, and anybody that got restarted in the 90s as a #1 issue, like, you know, Spider-Man got to have a #1 issue. I was into all those ones.
So that, you know, you make an interesting point. So, yeah, that'll have something to do with it. If they're making characters that I know of, but I don't have a connection to.
Yes.
So I wasn't reading in the 90s, so some of those characters I'm aware of, but they're obscure to me.
Yeah.
It'll depend on how I feel about the artwork.
I think as long as people are buying them, they're just going to keep cranking them out. I think they've come up with an easy thing that's kind of like a little bit like the He-Man, where you don't have to make a new sculpt every single time, you know? So.
But people bought all the retro Star Wars. You couldn't find those in stores, not very easily.
Yeah.
Not more than once for me. So I thought that line would put out 3 waves a year.
The sculpting is done already. They just need to reproduce it. Yeah.
I thought that was an easy 3 waves a year of retro vintage Star Wars figures.
Yeah.
Make one new figure with each wave. Is how I would do it. So
I think they looked at our life expectancy and they said if we just make 6 of these Star Wars guys a year, we'll have the whole original 92 before they die.
Well, you know what the obvious direction here is, besides the cast of characters they have to choose from. The range is unlimited with Marvel. There's also the costumes. I mean, as soon as I had classic Spider-Man, I was thinking I want symbiote Spider-Man. I want the black Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Iron Man has any number of well-known visual. I don't know how much that would change the sculpting, though. You said the sculpts are pretty similar body types. But I'm thinking you can get a lot of mileage out of costumes, too. I'm hoping after WandaVision that we get classic Scarlet Witch and Vision, Hawkeye. I definitely want a classic Avengers team.
Would you buy an old lady Agatha Harkness?
I guess that would really be testing the limits. Maybe they could do her as a mail away, and that would have more appeal.
Yeah.
All I could think was Dr. Doom and Fantastic Four. You know, the Hulk is such an incredible figure that I want to see what they do with the Thing.
You know, they do have what, 7 points of articulation, not 5, because they move at their gloves.
I did find that out in an online review. It's so hard to find any information right now. There's not a lot from retail sources. We found these at Target. From what I found on the internet, you can only find them at Hasbro Pulse or Target. I know of no other places carrying them, and I've not read any reports of a third wave. You know, we're talking about how many are we going to get. If this is like the Star Wars retro line, this might be all we get this year.
Yeah, oh, that'd be terrible.
You know,
yeah.
So, but I did see one review that showed when you open them, they actually have swivel wrist.
Yeah. And
so
I
guess that makes them 7 points of articulation.
Yeah.
So they're not vintage Star Wars.
Yeah, they're a little bit more than that. But I think that served a function to them so that they could just use the same upper arm for each figure and then just swap out the gloves. You know, the 3 I have here, I'm pretty sure, just kind of looking at them, the upper arm is the same, and then what makes them look so different is that it's the gloves.
Well, you know how you can determine it is to open them.
Yeah.
And as long as I've known you, you have opened every single figure you've ever gotten the same day. I've never known you to have a figure last more than a day in the package. So what's going to happen there?
Well, so if I do open these, I'm thinking about it. With my Star Wars figures, I always
Will I get the card backs if you open these?
No,
Bert gives me all of his vintage card backs from Star Wars.
I do, aren't I nice? Here's what I was thinking I would do. If I can't resist it, I would maybe do the slice at the top, like slice a square out of the top and slide them out so I could play with them and then slide them back in.
Can you make a prediction how long those will last unscathed in the bubble?
Oh, these are going to be in the bubble for a number of weeks, I think. Yeah, it's not a right away, because you know what it is? I don't have a scene plan for them. That's why I got to open up all my Star Wars figures. I got to open up as soon as possible because I have a scene with a hole in it.
So the scene is the question. I do want to open these, but I think when I think scenes, I think super articulation.
Yeah.
I think Marvel Legends, 6-inch. I think Vintage Collection or Black Series for Star Wars. But I do have Vintage Kenner posed on play sets. For me, I think I would need them to put out a play set, and then I would just stand them on play sets the same way I do my Vintage Kenner figures. Maybe even a cardboard backdrop, a cardboard display stand like the original 12.
Yeah.
Give me something like that.
Okay.
I want to pose these in a Kenner fashion, which means a cardboard play set or an actual play set. I won't just stand them up on the shelf because they don't have action posability.
Yeah. They're not meant to be like you set up a scene and you.
I mean,
photograph
even my
it
Mattel
playing.
Secret Wars figures that are loose are all connected in some way, shape, or form to the Doom Tower. So I just need one play set. Personally, with these, I love Kenner's cardboard display scenes. You know, Cloud City, the original 12 on the display stand.
Yeah.
Hoth had a cardboard. Land of the Jawas. Hoth had the
plastic
edit.
base and the cardboard at the back.
Yeah. Give me a base and a cardboard backdrop, and then I'll open them.
Okay. And what do you want? Do you want like the Avengers headquarters?
Well, that for the life of me, I can't figure out what is an iconic Marvel backdrop. The headquarters has looked different over the years.
Yeah.
Maybe a Quinjet, posing in front of a Quinjet.
Yeah. Wait, didn't the one guy we watched? I'm sorry, I forgot his name. The one YouTuber did the Toy Biz Quinjet and had him posed next to that, and I thought that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I think the X-Men have been much more consistent with the X-Men mansion.
Yeah.
It's hard because Star Wars, I think, has more iconic environments. They're more ingrained. I don't know of an iconic environment. I don't know. I think of the first X-Men movie, maybe the Statue of Liberty. They're all in New York City. Maybe live with that.
Well, maybe you just got to go back and buy some old Toy Biz stuff.
I do get the complaint that there's not a lot of accessories, but I mean, Secret Wars, let's be honest, it's kind of funny to give everybody the same blaster. Spider-Man and Captain America and Doctor Doom all wouldn't be carrying the same blaster. It was just a very 80s thing. I don't need a blaster here.
Yeah.
I guess if they had accessories, like You can't make Captain America without his shield. As far as I know, he's the only one of these characters that comes with an accessory right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if Mattel would have sued them if they put in hologram shields.
Yeah, those
that would have been
the
fun.
lenticular things.
The lenticular. So how do you respond to the criticism, which I've read a lot of comments on the few articles I find on this line? The comments keep coming back to not enough articulation, too simplistic, give me new stuff, this is silly, this is old school, overpriced for what you're getting.
Well, so that's a lot. That's a lot you just put out there. So number one, I'll start with the price. We'll go backwards, okay? With the price, I do wish these were $8 or $7.
We gotta go higher than DC. DC's $7, so you're hotter than DC. You gotta go higher.
Because I gotta tell
crazy
you,
not to.
I will buy stuff for my kids on a whim that's $8. I don't like spending $10 on 3.
Have you bought your kids the DC figures that are $7?
Well, no, they don't.
See, that's my point. No one knows DC. They don't like DC. That's my point. So if your kids saw Batman and Superman next to these, they don't care about Batman and Superman. That's my point. You got to pay more for what the kids want. The kids want Marvel.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
The kids want Marvel.
Yeah. Okay, so there's that. There's my point on that. I think they are marketing these to collectors, but I wish they were hitting both of us more. You know, I think just the design and the heavy card back says that they want collectors to get into this.
Well, very toyetic for little kids. Obviously.
Yeah, but they would work really well. Right. Yeah, I could see these being like.
So what about the complaint that it's 2021 and these are too simplistic and there's not enough articulation? Which to me misses the boat completely.
Yeah.
The purpose of what these are for.
Well, yeah, these are fun. These are for if you want to think about them actually being used and played with by a kid. They didn't want to get into that mode where articulation hinders the overall appeal of them. You know what I mean? That you want to look at it and just see a great looking character and not have to see all these seams and stuff like that, I think. So that's a design choice by theirs. I kind of feel like maybe I could stand to have bending knees added to these guys. But I don't know. You don't need much to make them look cool.
And here's why I don't want knees.
Yeah.
Because they scream Secret Wars to me. That was my second favorite toy line when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That's part of the hook for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many people will be hooked into it because of Mattel's Secret Wars. But if you had knees, you'd lose me. Like the arms, the hands being, the wrist, I should say, being movable, we had no idea.
Yeah.
And that won't feel any less like Secret Wars. Knees, to me, feels like you're starting to get into G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
And
well, you know what? With the joints, I'm wondering.
I don't want G.I. Joe Marvel.
Yeah,
I want Star Wars Marvel.
If their lower legs twist as well. Looking at these, we're going to have to open one. Oh.
So you will have an unboxing.
You've got to buy me a double just to do it.
You will have an unboxing.
This is not our unboxing, guys. I can't do it. This is our keep in the packaging episode here.
Which is the first ever for Bert, who opens everything. That this is the earth-shattering paradigm shift that he's thinking about not opening figures, but you even heard him say he's going to cut slits in to take them out. So he can't control himself.
Yeah, I just got to know if those boots twist. I don't know what good that would do.
Do you think if Hasbro put out multiple lines of retro Star Wars, could have multiple vintage Star Wars figures on the shelf at the same time, they would do well with kids in this day and age? Or are kids just tuned out because of phones and video games? Or would kids gravitate towards this style, 7 points, articulation, 5 points? Would they gravitate towards this figure? This archaic look?
I think the thing is, kids don't get a lot of choice or what they're going to play with. You know, I mean, they do, and they go to the stores, and I want this, I want that, and they look at ads and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, does a parent feel like buying for them? And that's where the cost thing comes down to me. Because I have enough, we can go to enough garage sales and stuff, we've got enough toys. You know, I mean, we don't really need more, but if it's cheap, I'll just do it, you know? That's why I wish they were a little cheap.
So you asked me, where's my cutoff line? And I think at some point I said
your
500
answer-
figures. I don't have a cutoff line.
Your answer was, when we talked on the phone about this, you said, well, I got to buy the Avengers, and I'd buy the X-Men, and I'd buy the Fantastic Four, and all the matching up villains. I'm like, oh, so
the
you
Marvel
just,
Universe.
You just buy everything. You're just going to buy them all.
So, well, you said Agatha Harkness, and that gave me pause. Agatha Harkness gave me pause. So, where's your cutoff line?
Yeah, you know, the same thing. Just all the X-Men and the Avengers. That's where I'm going to stop.
Well, I could say this. My cutoff line would be if the price goes any higher on the basic figures.
Yeah.
If it goes any higher, this is what I can sustain and defend. And of course I'd like it to be cheaper, but I like everything in life to be cheaper.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't want it. I hope I don't have to cut it off. I hope they make enough so that's a good problem to have.
Yeah. No, it's true.
I mean, I bought the modern day Miss Marvel, which I have no connection to in the comics, and it just looks so fantastic in the packaging, and I had to have it.
Yeah.
So right now, there's no cutoff.
I want them to go as far as Sleepwalker. That was my
Mail
jam
away.
as a kid.
Mail away.
The Sleepwalker mail away. All right, thanks everybody for listening. Remember, if you want to hear more conversations like these and learn more about, we do dioramas and no-skill customs and customs that take some skill, anything like that. Check us out, subscribe, and we'll
Don't
see you
forget
then.
card backs are coming.
Yes.